Hey, what's up, guys? It's Kenny Roy here with the AnimGym webcast for the month of April. Laugh it off was the topic. You know the drill. We're going to go through the entries and critique all of them. That's the way the AnimGym works. If you are a KennyRoy.com member, you get a free critique of your animation at the end of the month. So, if you want to learn all about it, go to KennyRoy.com, follow the link to the AnimGym. That's in the menu right over there. Click on AnimGym and get started. And if you're on a free trial, of course, you still can participate in the AnimGym. And nothing is stopping you from doing this animation no matter what, even if you're not a KennyRoy.com member. It's a great way to do a little bit of work with everybody and get some practice. Why am I always out of focus? Why is this always need adjusting? Why isn't a focus of 11, whatever that means, the same every day? I don't know. It's a little weird. Okay, so let's get right to it, shall we? 3 entries today. Nicole, of course. What was I expecting? Of course, Nicole. Duy Duong. Don't know if I'm saying that right. He also participated in March. So good job, 2 in a row. You're on a streak. Keep it up. And also Kitwanna Julius, another stalwart member of the AnimGym. Congratulations to all 3 of you. You should be proud of yourselves. Okay, here we go. We'll start with Nicole, and here we are. All right, so good parts to this, and there's some parts that need a little bit of work. What I'm concerned about is a little bit of the hands looking like they're in your mind some like an afterthought almost. He's like laughing and touching his belly, but then when he puts his hands down, they're like super IK, and this screen left one that doesn't move at all. They're both super IK, and they're floating and not really a part of anything. I would say that it's much more important to get everything kind of working together and make the hands like a part of everything, or just kind of like don't animate them. Like make them FK and just do a tiny little bit of overlap on them, if anything. But if you're going to do something like a hand motion from the belly to the knee, then you got to really support that and put enough work into that it doesn't look, like IK and weird. But this looks like very IK and weird, especially the amount that this elbow is like moving at the end here as well, and that hand is not basically going anywhere. So my main concern is with the hands with this. That's kind of easy to fix. The feet are also a little bit dead. I'd like to see a little bit of motion, just a little, like the heel, like adjusting, like the toe adjusting, just a little bit of slip slide, just a little bit of movement, life on those feet. And if you don't believe me, and this is for everybody, if you don't believe me that the feet are moving all the time, look at like people in line. If you're at the grocery store, just look at the feet of all the people in front of you. Even if they're standing completely still, their feet are like constantly moving. They're just like tiny little bit like of adjustment and twist and turn, and like they're not. It's almost imperceptible if you were going to look at like just like their cog or their center of gravity or whatever to see like what would be motivating feet moving right now. Sometimes there's nothing, but the feet are still moving. So move them a lot. Back up the body to the actual laugh itself. The beginning is very successful. The beginning really does look like there's this big like big exhale and big movement. The end is a little bit too repetitive. Same size, same sort of like repeated motion over and over like 3 times in a row. It's not as successful, but the beginning it does feel like this big exhale, and that air is coming out. I like the amount of overlap and sort of like how the head is sort of following way behind the action. It really feels pretty good, especially that So he goes down and then up and then down again. From the moment where he goes up and then down, it's super successful. It really feels like it's very well timed. It's very very good size, amount of overlap. Lagging that hip behind the action, it's all very successful. So I would say that you try to repeat that success a little bit later on, and it's not very hard. The second part of this, you just need to kind of break up the size there. Maybe have it sort of like step down, sort of like peter out a little bit, or big, small, medium, or big, or small, big, medium, or I don't know, big, small, big, or any sort of combination where it's just not the same thing. But overall, good. I'm glad you did this exercise. A laugh is one of the ones that I think can go on the must-do list of exercises for animators. I really do think. So good job. Good work. Okay, up next, Duy Duong. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. Interesting. Very weird rig. Your guy is like so like faceted and muscular. It's like freaking me out a little bit. Okay, so from what I'm watching right now, I feel like I'm seeing not enough movement in the body, and the body is a little too stiff. It's almost as if you're just moving his center of gravity up and down a little bit, and the rest is kind of just like sticking and moving with that. Okay, so I would break it up. If he's laughing, have there be an overall movement. All right, so from right here to right here, and then sort of put like a little bit of overlap in the spine as he's going up and down, and that minor movement, the up and down, is going on at the same time as the overall movement, which might be from leaning back to leaning forward. So it ends up looking like this, like that. All right. It's almost a layered approach. It's sort of layering up the movement. A very interesting end to this thing where he's clapping his hand and then sort of like looking. But I would say that he probably needs to be a more of a full body action, because what's happening is he's going from right here, and his hand, it looks like almost like right in the middle of his laugh, his hands like lock, like almost like pulled down there. And then his body reacts. I would imagine if he's laughing like this, that he would finish, and sort of like the body coming forward, like that end pose that you have, that would bring the hands down at the same time. And I don't mean twinning the action. We don't want everything to be all in the same key at all. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying make this twin now, but I am saying the way it is, it kind of feels a little bit too much like the arms are coming down like mindlessly of their own accord, and then his body is sort of like catching up to what's happening. It's a little bit of a freaky face pose. I'm not going to get too crazy about that. And then same note that I give a lot of people, which is that the feet are glued to the ground. If we can get just a tiny, even as he moves forward, just a little bit of a slip, slide, adjustment, turn of the heel, something on the feet so that they're not like stapled down, that would feel a lot better. And then just overall, it seems like, well, you chose a very interesting pose for the beginning, where there's a little bit of an off-centeredness to him, and he's kind of like, there's that S shape kind of like in the spine, but you wouldn't just like hold that and laugh. And so when I gave you the idea to, have an overall motion and also have the small motion, what I'm imagining is he might have that S shape that you have might have like a reversal in it. So he might go, ha, 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 kind of like, sort of like snake his way down and make use of the curve of his spine in an interesting way, not just hold it in that interesting shape, because it's an interesting shape right when we see it, but then it immediately turns weird that it's not changing at all as you go forward. Okay, so I hope that makes a lot of sense. Good though. Glad you're here in the AnimGym. Please keep it up. You're on a roll. Keep going. All right. Good job. All right. Last but not least, Kitwanna, Julius. This is great. Love the different sizes. We've got 3 different sizes here. He goes right up into that big one and then leans forward, or sorry, does the clap on the middle part and then leans forward to finish it. There's a little bit of hitchiness going on right now. I'm not sure exactly where it comes from, but it seems as though, yeah, this is not totally smoothed out or polished, and that's fine as long as you're staying on workflow. You're staying with your process and you're doing experimentation and you're finding new ideas as you're going. Then it doesn't matter that this is not finished, because like I've said in last month's lecture, and like I've said in a few video mails, it's not about, the AnimGym is not about finishing a shot necessarily. It's about getting even practice on your entire workflow. And if you get to a certain point where your shot is, kind of not teaching you anything anymore, then it's time to do a new shot. That's fine. So I would say that this needs a little bit more smoothing in the spine, especially. It hits its poses in the spine. If I isolate and just look at the spine, it hits those poses a little bit strong and a little bit too stepped for me. I do like one thing though. I really like how it seems like you're comfortable with like moving his cog in the seat. So his hips are rotating and they're kind of like almost translating, because when you're sitting down, if you're sitting down right now, kind of like roll around on your hips and look how much from like the perspective of like your chest, how much it looks like translation. Okay. You can't really see as much on a human body, especially one that's wearing clothes, what the hips are doing. But regardless, it kind of feels like translation almost. We have a lot of movement ability in even while we're sitting, and I'm constantly encouraging animators to make people move a lot more in their chair. Rotating the hips and even translating and moving the body around while they're sitting. It's very possible. Typically, seated characters by student animators and junior animators, sitting characters are far too static. But this is a great step in the right direction. So I'm very proud of you for doing this. I love how the feet are moving. I love how on each pose, there's just at least a little bit of adjustment. This is what I'm talking about. Just having the thought to put that little turn as he leans back into that planted foot, that's the right idea. That's the direction I want everybody to be going. I want everyone to start thinking like that, doing that kind of thing. And as time goes on, you're not just going to have that idea and throw that in. You're going to be thinking, all the time, how can I make the feet move? How can I make these, break these feet off of, static and make them great. Disregarding how kind of pose to pose it kind of is and the hitchiness, I think that your poses are pretty darn strong. You could have just a little bit more push in this middle pose where he's clapping. Things are a little straight, and you do have kind of odd angles. I wonder if the strong reversal that you have right here is actually better suited for this middle pose. So instead of stopping his spine at the straight pose that you have right now, he goes from way back here to a little bit more leaned over. So you get that reversal first, and then you settle down into, because there's enough movement from the middle over to this final pose that you're never going to lose that in a transition. So I wonder if you could do a little experiment and see if the middle section benefits more from more spine action than it has right now. Okay, and another thing in terms of the timing, I wonder if you might take this back to step and just do a little tempo test for me, which is I've given the tip once that sometimes making the action is the transition. I wonder maybe if he goes up to laugh and then claps into the middle section, so that the clap is the transition to the middle section, and then oh man, down finally onto that arm. I say that because it seems as though what's happening in the timing right now is putting the clap where it is giving a slight false sense that this is more evenly timed than it actually is. It's not evenly timed, but when we go up and then clap and then down, it's seeming even. But the clap is offset from the movement in the body, which is what I normally take much more weight as what is actually the timing of the shot. The body is driving the shot, right? The clap isn't, but the clap is making it seem like the body is. If that makes any sense, let's play it and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So it's up, clap, down, right? Up, clap, down. So that kind of feels really even, right? But I'm not taking the clap as that moment. This is the real timing. Up, middle, down. Up, middle, down. Up, middle, down. See that? So it's the body that is really timed correctly. So I wonder if it should be up, clap, down, right? So you bring that clap back just a little bit, so that it more closely resembles the timing of the body, the important stuff, and then it won't feel so even. I wonder if that's an experiment you can do for me. Other than that, I mean, just a little bit of polish, take it a little bit further in your workflow next time if you get time, and just keep on kicking butt. This is some of the best stuff I've seen from you, even though it's maybe not necessarily the highest level of polish. This has a lot of things that I've been saying. It has the feet sliding. It has some experiment in there. It's got movement in a seated character. It's got great stuff, so you should be proud of yourself. Good job. Very good work indeed. Very good work indeed. Well, that'll do it. You know the dealio is this. Go to KennyRoy.com right now. Check out the AnimGym, and if you've never had a subscription to KennyRoy.com, you can get a free trial. Just click on the free trial link and try me out for 30 days, no obligation. And while you're there, do the AnimGym. I'll give you a free critique, and we can, if you like it, you can stick around. If you don't, we can go our separate ways, and I wish you fantastic luck. That'll do it for today. I'm Kenny Roy. Good luck with your animation, as always. Rock on.